AskReddit. What current trend is actually doing more harm than good? People jumping to the conclusion that anything resembling a negative opinion is hate, or that the person is outraged or something. To expand, if somebody says I hate Kanai's music, it just means that they don't enjoy his music. However, if somebody says I hate black people, then that's a different thing altogether. You know, context and content are important, so use your thinky parts. Kids/families having YouTube channels. I'm thinking of the ones who do it professionally, unboxing toys, etc. As far as I'm aware, it's totally unregulated in terms of working hours/conditions for the kids involved. Unlike the film industry, it seems likely they could start tying their self-worth to how many likes/subscriptions they get. Add in a lot of the negatives of traditional child stars being your family's source of income, losing your popularity as you age into a teenager/adult, etc. And it strikes me as very unhealthy. Public shaming via social media. The amount of media that we can consume at our fingertips causes some people to accept things that they read at face value because of the effort involved in fact checking. It's just easier to like and share and move on. The trend that dumb is cool, where people think not caring about education and ridiculing those that try is the downfall of our society. Silencing one another just because someone disagrees with you does not mean they're a Nazi, libtard, racist, a dumbass, etc. Recently Joe Rogan had a very interesting guest on his show who spoke of this. He was a very liberal man that was discussing this whole culture of silencing people/voices. If you're drowning people out, you're not learning from one another, therefore you're not teaching people. Discussions, no matter how ridiculous or how much you disagree with them, should be encouraged. It is awful of society to just immediately disregard someone else for not sharing the same views as you. We live in a world that tells everyone to stand out, to make themselves known by any means necessary. In the past, that would have required a person to become an expert in some field or another, or at least create something unique. Nowadays, everyone has access to the same platform, and everyone has an idea or an opinion that they feel entitled to share. Some would say that equality of that nature is a good thing, but that same equality has been offered without any understanding of the responsibility that it confers. And the truth of the matter is that most of what gets contributed serves no purpose other than to eclipse more substantial offerings. Hell, look at Reddit as an example. In this very thread, there are literally hundreds of single sentence, or even single word, responses to the original question, with many of them echoing identical sentiments to one another. The vast majority of the people who come through here are just submitting answers that they've been taught will garner positive attention, and they're upvoting the ones that can be understood with nothing more than a single glance. Meanwhile, the well-reasoned, well-thought-out comments, the ideas that might prompt discussions, debates, or just interesting discourse, are getting buried beneath that avalanche of laziness. The same thing occurs in every other aspect of modern life. Significant developments in many scientific fields are being stymied by funds going to studies with flashy but false promises. Devastating social issues are being overlooked in favor of popular stories about single individuals or manufactured outrages, and knowledge that would have once been taken for granted is being muted or warped by the multitude of voices. Shouting I don't like it, or it's too complicated. We can't very well blame those people for speaking out, though, because our culture has become one which applauds anyone who can scream loudly enough. Unfortunately, this is not a phenomenon that any other generation has had to confront. Many of the above concerns may seem similar to those voiced by people in the past, and because of this false positive, quite a few folks mistakenly think that ignoring the problem will make it go away. But the internet represents an entirely new frontier for mankind, and it's one that we weren't prepared to explore. It's great that everyone has a voice. It's not so great that nobody has learned how to shut up and listen. As a result of this, the people with something to say are being drowned out by the people who just want attention. Body positivity. Making obese people trendy and acceptable is wrong. These so-called pranks and social experiments that I see online are starting to get downright nasty. Shade/clapping back/burn/pettiness, or however you want to label it, It's not a new trend, but it's still extremely prominent. There are articles dedicated to random people and celebrities delivering sickening burns. Sure, every now and then it's funny if the recipient deserves it, but more often than not now it's just someone saying something innocuous and someone finding something to insult them over. You have an opinion about politics? Bitch, you make $3 fiddy. Then the reactions are reminiscent of that fake rap battle video. It's weird for people to be promoting treating others well based on their sex/race/size/etc, but it's fine to indiscriminately shit on someone for any other reason. Think of the children to push any and every agenda. It's a weak, thoughtless argument that is just based on emotions. Contacting people's employers to get them fired for something posted on social media. Someone is gonna get murdered for this someday. Cancel culture. I feel like the mob feeling of burning things down leaves no recourse for real people who make real mistakes and learn real lessons, only to be immolated by group rage. Victimhood. People are always blaming others for their problems, but for some reason it's controversial to blame the individual for their situation. There's a lack of personal accountability, and pointing that out will often get you painted as insensitive/racist/etc. Getting offended by everything, especially old movies and cartoons. I'm sorry, but you can laugh at Apu and the movies like American Pie were funny, and we're not done, because of sexism and all of that stuff. Pushing trans issues in everybody's face. I understand that the issues trans people face need to be talked about, but demanding that people change what words they use is most definitely not the way to go about things. Snap streaks and Snapchat in general. The app is just built for distractions, make you addicted to exceedingly stupid features as snap streaks etc. So they can feed on youths with clickbait ads. Internet censorship and people actually pushing for it, not realizing the terrible future it will bring. Outrage culture is the fuel that will burn away our freedoms. These people being persecuted in the court of public opinion before they are found innocent or guilty in the actual courts. A great example would be Danny Masterson getting kicked off the ranch because of these allegations that happened before and he was found innocent of. It seems so terribly vindictive that people are being persecuted in the court of public opinion without the proper detail. I absolutely love the new trash collecting trend, both satisfying and good for our earth. Anti-intellectualism, the mistrust of medicine and science, embracing idiots just because of entertainment, or it helps to get in more revenue. Pretty much every morpg from the past decade now with the same trend of overcompensating on late game or post end game, rather than just making a main game that is good from the start, then wondering why they all end up going down the drain. How gossiping, spreading rumors, being rude, and just plain awful is normalized and is more of a trend. Cancel culture/call out culture. There are instances where it did do good. It was justified in the Rossen situation, even if it was a joke. 1. She's a grown ass woman who absolutely should have known better. And 2. She's also made one other racist joke, but it also does a lot of harm, like all the bullshit with Shane Dawson. All the people who were quick to call him a pedo, a very serious accusation, when the only evidence in his like 8+ year career is a throwaway joke he made 3 years ago. Was it in poor taste? Absolutely. Is Shane still problematic? Yeah, he does have a bit of a racist past, but he's not a pedo. All the time Twitter decided to go after Brother Nature for a tweet from years ago. He was a child, and I know I've said some truly dumb shit when I was that age. Or firing James Gunn over an old tweet. Fake woke people. Behold my 16 tweet thread on how some friend of a friend is being oppressed. Raising awareness. It's valuable to be able to perceive issues, but pointing something out doesn't make you part of the solution, and I think the two are getting conflated. 5 current parenting trends that do more harm than good. Unrealistic expectations. Punishing, restricting, and confiscating. Focusing only on the negative. Tracking every move. Mixed up priority. As a whole, organic food is more harmful for the planet. We should farm as efficiently as possible, so we wouldn't have to cut down so much forest. Organic farming also relies on cow manure for its nitrogen. If you want more organic farming, you need more cows, and that's definitely not good for the planet. I'm not so sure if this is necessarily a trend, but cutting people off from your life because they are toxic. I agree that sometimes you need to distance yourself from certain people. I've had to do that for family members, but nowadays people just do it for silly reasons, and that brings me to my other point, calling everything toxic when some of it really isn't. The widespread use of filters and Photoshop, not just among celebrities, but now among youth and young adults. Perfecting ourselves for public consumption. Not a new battle, but a lot of new apps are coming out that make photoshopping that much easier. It only supports the idea that we need to change the way we look for others to accept us/love us. It stuns me